Welcome to another episode of The Stitch Life. Today we will be going over slopers and how to manipulate them and how to utilize them, and the best ways and best practices that you can do from them. So I'm going to set up the camera so you guys can get a bird's eye view of what is going on and how it's happening, and then you'll just mostly hear my voice throughout the our live today and this episode. I just want you to hear, but just make sure that you're paying attention to what I'm doing on the paper. All right, so I'm gonna set my camera up here. Make sure you guys can see. Okay. It may be, so I see here clearly. We're gonna have to do this a different way because then you're not gonna be able to see. Okay. Put it directly onto the table. And then you guys can follow along from there. All right, yeah, that's actually perfect. So you can see the entire table, and of course I lift things up and put things directly in the camera as I am explaining. All right, so first things first is, this is a bodice sloper that I created when I was in college quite some time ago, like 2008. So this is actually more so of a torso. So it's a bodice as well as a torso sloper. And then this is a sleeve sloper. Now, don't mind, they look a little beat up and raggedy, but that's because I refuse to replace them. I've been holding on to them for multiple years, and they have just been, a part of my journey, so I never replaced them. Now, first thing that you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you have the proper tools. First tool that you'll absolutely need, of course, is a clear plastic ruler, preferably 18 inches, a hip curve. Varigate is probably one of the best ones. A armhole curve, and an L square ruler. Those are the measurement tools that you need. You will also need paper, scissors, a measuring tape as well, and of course a writing utensil. I think that the best one to have is actually a mechanical pencil. Mechanical pencils are great because you're able to erase as you go about. But if you were, creating a big sloper that you were going to use on and on again, it's perfectly fine to use a pen as well. Now, because my slopers are slightly on the older side, I kind of have to hold them down as I'm going around them, but ultimately you'll be able to just use a weight to press down on these. Now, one thing you're going to want to do as you transfer your sloper over is you're going to want to make sure that you transfer every single point. So that being your dart legs, you're going to want to trace over your waistline. You're going to want to trace over all of the notches associated, and of course the apex and all of the markings that are on your sloper. We actually sell these slopers on our website. We sell knit and woven slopers. But what I'm showing you guys today is going to be a woven sloper because it's easy to take a woven sloper and turn it into a knit than it is to actually manipulate a knit sloper. If you have a woven sloper, you can pretty much do whatever you see fit with that. You can create multiple things. Sorry. You can create multiple things from the woven sloper because you can just close up the darts and you can manipulate it to do different things that a knit sloper may not actually work for you. So just want to give you that note, and I will put the camera back up so that we can go. And my little thing that was holding the camera is all the way over here. Sorry. Let's put that back here. I think I'll just have you guys listen to my voice so that way we don't have that little malfunction here. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I have a smaller clear plastic ruler that's 1 inch compared to the one that I have that is 2 inches. I'm gonna go ahead and do that one first and go ahead and trace it around. So as I trace, I'm holding my ruler very taut to my shoulder seam, and I'm going to do that pretty much with every seam as it's pressed down, so that way I'm getting a very clean line there. You always want to have the cleanest lines as possible, the most clean lines as possible. So And when you have a mechanical pencil, it also helps because of the edge is very straight. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this over. And as you're transferring, even when you get to like a curve point, the best way to do a curve point is to actually tick around it with a dash line. So here, 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 here. You guys see that? So I'm going dashes all the way around like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to swoop my armhole curve in here, and then I'm going to use that to actually round it out. So you'll be able to see on my paper here how it looks once it's actually rounded out. So I'm going to stick this directly in here like so. And then I'm going to curve around here. And then up here, I have to slightly shift it a tad bit. And I'm shifting it a tad bit so that I can capture this here. Okay? You'll probably move them around quite a bit when you're doing this. But this is just so that you kind of get an idea of the best way to get started. Okay? All right, so hope that makes sense. Another thing that you'll also need is you can use an awl or you can use a pen. I'm going to mark my apex. The apex is the actual middle point of the bust point. So you're going to mark that, and it's actually notated on the sloper, so you don't have to figure it out on your own. And I'm going to do that for all of my dart legs. So I'm basically just notching inside of where my dart legs are, so that way my proportion is correct. And these slopers were created from a dress form. And that's really what a sloper is. A sloper is a two-dimensional version of the body. So just like we manipulate on a dress form when we're draping, you can take the body in the flat version and you can then manipulate it using a flat pattern, which is better for things that are way more precise, and especially if you are a geometry and anatomy person, you can really define the shapes the way you want to with doing it flat. And then the measurements are more precise than draping, and then of course you're not adding a step. Draping is a whole added step because you still have to transfer your piece over into a pattern in order to recreate it. Because you're not draping with your actual fabric. You're going to be draping with your faux fabric as you get the design worked out. Okay, so fun little fact, Halston, one of America's very innovative designer, he draped with silk, which was extremely expensive because silk was $20 a yard, but that's how he used to do it. So I definitely recommend flat pattern for jackets, for pants, for anything that has a precise measurement. That way is really taught in the time. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to then take my ruler and I'm going to fill in all of my markings like so. Like this. Then I'm going to use these same markings in that same apex bust point. Let's make sure you guys can see that. That same apex bust point, which is here, is also going to come here, here, and here, and as well as over there. Okay. So let's go to this point. Then we'll go to this point. And then we'll go to this point. And our last point is directly at the bottom. So at the bottom, we're going to do the same thing. And basically what I'm doing is creating the dart line legs from the shoulder seam down to the apex seam, down to the waistline. And once I'm done, it will look like this. Okay, so from top to bottom, this is how that looks. All right. And then I'll have another one just over here in the corner. Alrighty. Now, a couple things terms that you'll hear a lot with flat pattern making is slashing and spreading, as well as dart manipulation. You'll hear that a lot. And you'll hear a lot about like reconnecting and reshaping either the neckline or the armholes. So today I'm going to show you a little bit of flashing and spreading as well as a little bit of dart manipulation so that you can see how that is done. We're going to take a quick little break so you guys check out our sponsors, and we'll be back momentarily to go over how to actually slash and spread.
What is it?
This girl I just matched with, she likes The Office. I also like The Office.
Go to her.
She likes The Office. I'd known Monica for a whole 6 seconds. She was gonna switch to me.
I object.
Oh, did I mention she was getting married?
I'm Tanner. I like watching The Office and going on adventures. 6 foot. Gym rat. I want to find the Pam to my gym. And we're unlike any man I've ever met in my life.
You are unlike any woman I have ever met.
Switching has never been easier. Switch to T-Mobile and save up to $650 per line.
You're definitely not 6 feet.
T-Mobile is the leader in 5G.
Okay, welcome back, guys, and we're going to go through slashing and spreading. So once you have your silver pretty much set with all of the markings on there, which I do here, I'm just going to add my little waistline dart. What you're going to want to do is you can start manipulating now so that you can figure out exactly what the design is going to be. And then you're going to end up cutting it out to actually make the design. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut first, because that's the best way to show slashing and spreading, as well as dart manipulation. And that way I can put my piece directly in front of you so you can see exactly what it is and how I'm doing this. So cut this out like so, and when you cut, it's always good to, of course, allow yourself on your left hand, or if you're right-handed, peel with the left and cut with the right. But peel the paper back with your left hand side. It'll help you get around those curves a lot better than if you just were cutting without giving it any texture. And of course, don't ever cut in the air. That's like a big no-no. You definitely want to cut flat on the paper and then try to go for long strides opposed to very short cuts, which tend to not be as smooth. Alright, so that. Alright, now the camera just makes me just for a little bit. Oh, God. So, this is my silver piece cut out. Now, if I wanted to manipulate my dart and my shoulder seam, pretty much saying, like, let's say I want to eliminate my dart completely. The way that I would eliminate my dart completely is by either cutting it out or folding it out. I prefer the fold method just in case I change my mind later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score my dart legs. And when I say score, I mean use a ruler, and you can use a pen, and you can straighten it down, go straight down the leg to give the paper a little pricks in it, so that way it actually is easier to fold. So I'm just gonna, it's just like pressing your pen really, really hard into your dart leg. Or you can use an awl to do this, because if it's pressed really hard, it will almost go directly through the paper. We don't want it to go directly through, we just want to be able to pierce it. Scoring and piercing is pretty much the same thing. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to match my dart legs up like so, down to the apex point. So that's the apex point. And then these are my dart legs. Okay, so I'm going to fold, and I'm going to fold my entire pattern piece directly on there for now. So now this is like that. See that? Perfect. Now, the reason why I'm doing it in the middle is because ultimately I want to take one leg over. Let me go this direction. Ultimately, I want to take one leg over to the other leg. So I'm going to pick this up on this side where I scored it, and I'm now going to move it over to this side. And I'm going to close up this dart. See? So now the dart is closed, and now my shoulder is a little bit shorter than where it used to be. Cool? So that's one. Now, the other thing for slashing and threading is we definitely want to use our dart legs to start so that way we're proportioned correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line from the end of my dart leg all the way to the bottom hem of my torso on both sides, because I plan on slashing and spreading this and creating fullness, like if I wanted a peplum or some type of like circle dress. So first things first is to go straight down. And you'll see me go straight down here. Now, the rule of thumb with slashing and threading is to slashing and spreading is to cut 2 but not 3. So I want all of my fullness to be in a certain area. So once you decide where exactly you want that fullness, you need to draw a line straight across. And you'll cut up to that line, but you won't cut through that line. So I think with this particular piece, what I want to show you guys is how to make a tunic, circle tunic. So because this is my apex point, let me put this like this so you guys can see. This is pretty much how this lays. This is my shoulder seam. That's my armhole seam. So I want the fullness to start below the waist where I have my waistline. So I want it to start about right here. So the piece that I already have is actually okay. So first thing I'm going to do is, because I've already laid down the straight legs or whatever, you can actually decide that you want to do 1 inch, 2 inch, and stuff like that. I don't do it like that. I pretty much just cut into it so I can decide how full I want it so that it's not so uniform. So I'll start with just slashing up one dart leg. Okay, and then I'm actually going to slash up the other one as well, all the way to the waistline seam. Okay, you'll see that there. Slash and spread to the waistline seam. Now, ultimately, what I want to do is I want to move this over. Like I want to slash them and spread them out so they're moving over. So I'm going to go ahead and slash another line here to create that fullness. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that I want it to be really full, so I'm going to go ahead and slash another 1 inch line. Now, the more full you want it, the more line, not necessarily the more lines, the more folding and manipulating you have to do. But if you want it to be really, really, really full, you're going to have to slash things and fold them over. So my first piece I'm actually going to move over is this guy, which is my last piece on the end. So now, because I want it to be very high up, I'm going to make this piece start right here. That's going to be my first slash line. And then my next piece, I can move over here. So what the goal is though here is to now put this back down on another piece of paper and then tape down the actual spreading. So I'm going to just put my ruler here to hold my paper down as a placeholder on one side, and I'll use my curve to get it on the other side. And then I'll show you a bird's eye view of what this will look like. So I'm going to go grab the tape. You guys are going to cut to our next sponsor for today, and I will be right back with how to completely fill out an entire slash spread. So see you in a sec. are back, guys. Okay. Alrighty, so if you take a look here, you'll see that I have already started to create the spreading. So you'll see that I have a whole bunch of roll lines that are currently cut up right now. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to fold out. For this particular one, I kind of want it to be a little bit fuller, so I think I'm going to go ahead and cut out one more line. All right, so now, actually, I think I like it to go this way. So in order for me to get like a really nice circular shape, I'm folding it up onto the waistline. I'm taking my tape and I am sealing it down. Then I'm laying this part down, which is the end of my leg, and I'm also taping that down. So that's the fullest point there. Now I'm going to take my next leg, and I'm probably going to fold it over a little bit too, like create a fold there and let that lay there, because I really want it to be full. And I'm only working on my center front bodice right now. And in pattern making, whatever you do to the front, you need to also do to the back. So if I want it just as full in the back, I'm going to have do the exact same thing that I'm doing here. Now, once you get here, sometimes if you want to move it over, you'll find that it ruffles a little bit. You can still do the same method as hooking it over in a fold into the waistline and then going straight down. So put this here. I'll pull this from here, like so. Okay. And then you just keep doing that same method and making it as full as you want. So I'm going to cut into this one a little bit more. Slash there. And do the same exact thing. And I'm just literally just taking the paper and I'm just moving it and manipulating it so that it slides over evenly somewhat, because I'm still going to have to retrace this over again once I'm done manipulating. Oops. Let's hold this down. Move these legs here. They lay flat. All right. Slash this spread. Now, show you a couple different ways to make this into, let's change the neckline once we have it completely spreaded. So I think I have just as much fullness as I think I'd like at this point. And I will flip the camera down so you can get a gist what that looks like. And I'm also just going to take that original dart leg together that I folded out. So that way, when I'm moving, it doesn't move. So you'll probably use a lot of tape when you're manipulating your sofas, because you got to tape and cut and move things around. It's always good to use scrap paper for little updates and mistakes, so that way you're being sustainable and you're not wasting paper. So let me give you guys a look of what it looks like now. So now, I'll show you the side view of how it looks. All right. I'm actually going to cut away any extra fabric. I'll fold this back so you can kind of get a gist of what this will look like once it's transferred to the correct type of paper. All right. Okay. So now you'll see from here to here, this is pretty much what it looks like. All right, now let's go into our neckline just a tad bit. We'll fold this up like so. So, as you know earlier, I closed out that dart. Now, this neckline for me is just a bit too high. It actually would sit about where my collar is sitting on my current piece that I have on. I don't want it like this. I think that I'd want it more of a V-neck style. So let's say right here. So what I would do is I would measure from here to where I wanted it to stop at. So I'm going to say that I want mine to be about 11 inches down. So I'm thinking really sexy. So now I take my ruler, my flat measuring tape actually, and I'm going to measure down 11 inches. Okay? Now you can do this with your clear plastic ruler or whatever you want to do it with. Okay? I'll measure down 11 inches, and I'm going to make a notch mark there. All right. Now that I have my notch mark of where I want it to be, I'm now going to change the shape of my neckline to match that. Well, to meet that. So if I wanted to have really full area here, and I would like it to have a very, very strict, I would say not strict, but a very sharp V cut, I'm going to make sure that that line is really, really straight. So I'm going to turn this closer to the camera. You can see that. And I'm going to come from my shoulder seam, and I'm going to make a line. I'm not going to change my shoulder because I like the way my shoulder is sitting. I'm only changing the neckline. So my point is going to come from the top of my shoulder seam, and it's going to go down to my 11-inch notch mark. All right. So from there, I'm going to go here. All right, so now I have that new line, and that new line is my new neckline. So I can actually cut off the excess here, and now I have a completely new neckline. Okay, new shape. So now my new pattern shape looks like this. I have V-neck. If I was to put this on, shoulder seam would sit here, V-neck would sit here, and of course it will be cut too, so it will be one on the opposite side as well. And now I have a V-neck top that flares at the bottom. So that is slashing and spreading as well as dart manipulation as well as neckline manipulation. So that was just coming from this particular Sloper block here, which is their basic torso. We have these in sizes 0 all the way up to size 28 available on our website. And you can check out all the different options that we have as far as knit and woven. They come with all of the dart placement on them. And what you can do is once you get it, because it'll come to you on white dotted paper, you should transfer it over to oak tag paper for its longevity. So all of the dart, the sloper, the slashing, everything's there. And it comes with a little tip sheet on different things that you can do. Plus we have multiple videos that we'll continue to do on the Stitch Life, as well as our Instagram page on how to do particular manipulations. If you sign up for one of our subscriptions, of course, you'll get, or classes, of course, you'll get one-on-one attention with these as well. We offer pattern making as well as draping courses as well. Courses virtually, and we offer them privately on a one-on-one basis. You can always come to NY for the weekend and check them out and do a whole customized thing. It's really fun. We have a really good time with manipulating and creating new things. Perfect. All right, and then I want to, before we get out of here really quick, I just want to show you a quick thing on the sleeve. So this is a sleeve sloper. Pretty much a regular, like rectangle, whatever. You use the same, apply the same methods to a sleeve that you would for clothing. So if you want a full sleeve, slash, 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 cut open and spread. If you like a full puff sleeve, you slash, slash, slash here, and then you spread it open. So the methods are applied to every single piece. So it's still the same no matter where you want your fullness at. You could do the same thing in pants, sleeves, bodices, even skirts, you name it, it's all there. So thank you so much for joining us on Stitch Life. Sorry for all the technical difficulties that we have. We will see you again next week. Peace out.